All right. Good afternoon, America, and good evening, Europe, my old hometown. And it's pretty early in the morning if you're in the Pacific Rim, but I'm sure Raquel and I have several connections in lots of countries all over the world. So I am very honored to be a brand ambassador for Rever. And Rever is a app-based software that helps empower your frontline teams. So people can go learn more by going to reverscore.com or direct messaging me. So Raquel, all the way from, up there. Thank you, Raquel. Good.
And I'm wearing the Rever colors. Who knew? Black and blue.
Who knew? See? I think we're going to be talking about branding a little bit, right?
If you want to. Some people don't want to have anything to do with branding, but if you want to talk about it, sure.
All right. No, actually, we're going to be going from shy to courageous or whatever. Whatever word. I can't think of a good word that goes with shy. Can you?
Well, a lot of people now use the word introverted when they think shy. I don't know. I think shyness has a lot to do with just kind of confidence in your insecurities, to be honest.
All right. So go ahead, Raquel. Introduce yourself to those people that don't know you. And we are going to do shy to confidence and everything in between.
Well, hi, Gracie. And then hi, LinkedIn user.
Yeah, whoever that is.
What are you trying to hide?
Well, actually, it depends on people's settings. I didn't realize that until the other day.
I didn't realize that you could do that too. I know that there's when you get your profile views and you don't have premium, it'll just say LinkedIn user and private or whatever. But either way, sorry.
Go for it. It might be a tip. People don't realize. People don't realize it's a tip. You can go to your settings and you can unghost yourself because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Hello. Yeah. All right. Come on, Raquel.
So Raquel Borras, I'm in Northern Virginia, but like we discussed right before the call, I'm from Southern California. So the fact that you're in SoCal, I'm kind of jealous. Yes, you LinkedIn user. And let's see. So I'm assuming I'm on this show with you because we've been connected on LinkedIn and you kind of see that I'm really active on this platform. And I started my own business in January for personal branding. Then COVID hit, so I kind of put myself out there in a different way. And now I'm actually in another transitional phase myself right now, like as we speak.
Yeah.
I actually had an epiphany this morning about something. So yeah, I'm going through a lot of changes right now, and it's great. But I think why a lot of people kind of follow what I do is because I share that journey, if you will. I share what I'm experiencing. I'm very vulnerable about it. Just 2 days ago, I was talking about how I am going through a spiritual awakening and some inner transformation, and that it's hard and it's painful and it's not easy. And, I just feel like I just owe it to my network, to my family, just to kind of share things about myself. Why not?
Why not? And actually, that was the hook for me, your vulnerability. And I've been watching you in Ghost Pattern for a while. And
you're one of those.
Yeah.
I have so many that are like, I've been following you for years, and they just DM me, and I'm like, really? Because you've never liked or commented on any of my content, but they're like, no, I'm paying attention, like keep doing what you're doing. And I appreciate that. I tell them thank you so much for reaching out and letting me know, because I think with social media, it's so easy to get caught up in you put stuff out there, but you really don't know what it's actually doing on the other end.
You bet. Yeah.
So I do like it when people actually reach out to me.
All right. Well, talking and putting it out there, Odessa's just joined. She's in London in the UK. So Odessa, Raquel is a fan of the show called The Crown here. So she now knows that I was born in England. So she's going to use me as a resource for fact checking.
Yeah. Season 4 just came out this weekend, and season 4, they introduced Princess Di. Season 3, Camille was introduced. And then now Princess Di is being introduced. And it's interesting because it's all it's her story, and it's what's going on behind closed doors. So that's why I was just interested, like if it's really on point with history. But I think the Crown's doing. I hear that they're really good about kind of staying with what actually happened. So we'll see. But I love it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of journalistic guidance from the UK. So, you know, where the UK has a pretty strong set of guidelines.
Well, I would think, especially if you're talking about the royal family, you have to make sure that you are pretty factual and that you're not painting a certain light when that's
correct. Yeah, in the UK, they're the largest landowner still, and at one time they were the biggest social employer. So people don't realize that, and people think that they're not self-financing, but they are more than self-financing. So it's a concept that wouldn't it be an awesome concept if our government did that, right?
Right. Well, I mean, that's like McDonald's. People don't realize that they don't make their money off of the actual franchise and the restaurants. Their money is made off of the land that they own because they own so much real estate in the world. That's where their money comes in. It's
yeah, from rental and sharing great land.
Yeah, anyway. But not the cheeseburgers.
No, but it is the restrooms when you're in a foreign country and you're not sure. Like I've been in many foreign countries working. It's like, okay, where I always ask the locals, where's the nearest McDonald's? And then they'll go, you know, you can always, even if you pay a lot for a burger overseas, you can always get a good restroom. So
well, there you go.
Nice and clean. So a traveler tip, a little traveler's tip.
Well, now I know when I visit. Hopefully I'll get to visit because I've never been.
Yeah, well, you're going to come back to California. Maybe one day we'll meet live, you know, in person live. Not
well, I'm planning on going in January after the holidays.
Okay.
So we'll see. Obviously, I know California right now, you guys are kind of going into that lockdown mode.
I know.
But fingers crossed I get to at least go out there and be in lockdown mode with my family.
Sure. Well, Gracie Ruth Melendez, who was the first to hop on, she is actually a co-host and a co-host. We used to be LinkedIn local leaders in person. And what we've done is we've adapted, like you were saying, going through epiphanies and adaption. We adapted to do LinkedIn local virtuals. So we do one about once a month. And so if there's people in Southern California watching this, we've got a wonderful guest speaker on November 19th. And we're going to be doing something around table etiquette for the holidays. So it's going to be fun.
Oh my. Okay, that's good. Because I still don't really understand the whole fork spoon thing. I'm not
you're on Eastern.
Roberts in Pretty Woman where she's like a nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bit better. I'm a little more refined in that respect, but I could still use
All right. Well, you're on Eastern time, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's 9:30 your time on Thursday. So if you
at night?
At night, yeah, I know. Terrible.
I am doing a live from 8 to 9, so maybe I'll hop on.
Sure, if you're up for it.
Yeah. Right. Send me the link.
Yeah. Or between Gracie and I, we'll ping you somehow.
Nice. And then I just see Holland jumped on. This is so exciting because I usually don't get to speak with anyone that has kind of an audience in the UK and out in Europe. So this is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. And Wendy just hopped on and Lisa just hopped on. So
ladies.
Yeah, we are rocking. So nice little transition.
Yes.
You are about to launch a brand new hashtag. And so talk a little bit about how that came about and then talk about how that relates to shy to your confidence mode that you're in right now.
So with LinkedIn, I kind of, got into a place after years of being on there where I was just able to just be myself and kind of keep it real. So everything was like keeping it real. And then lately I feel like I've been kind of rocking the boat and ruffling feathers and being that person that's talking about things that not many people want to discuss. And there's so many things that I even shared that would rock the boat. So that's why I was like, I'm going to do hashtag rock the boat. And it's RAQ. I'm assuming you guys can tell because of my name, but I've always been called Rocky or Rock. Mm-hmm. So I figured the RAQ is perfect. And then the boat. So the boat, there's a big symbolism with, with boats and just the journey and there's a lot there. So just like fit really perfectly. So I'm in the process, and I don't know if I want to share it yet because I don't want anyone to take my idea, but I'm gonna be launching something fairly soon. And when I say launch, I'm just gonna do it. And this is like what I tell people, like, just do it. So I'm not going to have it all prepared. It's not going to be like this whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and start uploading certain videos on YouTube. I'm going to do a channel that's going to be Rock the Boat. And there's going to be something that I'm in the works with. And it's something that really hasn't really been done.
Awesome.
And, yeah, so I'm excited for it. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So be sure after the live here to go back in and pop that hashtag in so that everybody either live afterwards.
I haven't hashtagged anything with Rock the Boat. So if you follow, you'll see like there's something. I had Rocky Rocks the Boat. I was starting to do that on a couple of my things, but I was like, that's too long.
Too tongue tied.
Rock the Boat. So now I have to remember, though, every time I post something to rock the boat, because I'll forget.
Hey, come on, you can do it. It's much simpler and it's pretty cool because it defines, the core of you, and that journey is pretty important with the boat. So I love it. Actually, Gracie, perhaps Gracie, would you mind? She's live listening in. Okay. Would you mind dropping that hashtag in the comments for everybody to see? That would be super helpful.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, for Raquel and I. Gracie's super supportive, so she'll do that.
Thank you, Gracie.
Yeah. All right. So shy to confidence. And then I want to do a little parable about that I had an epiphany about this morning based on a little shirt that I'm wearing. So we'll come back to that. And what would you say are number one, what was your turning point where you realized that, being shy, as we talked about, or introverted is very powerful, but sometimes you get overlooked if you're not confident. So what was your aha moments when you were going from shy to becoming confident, and how did that work for you?
So with me, I wasn't actually shy. If anything, I was repressed. And that's how no, it's unfortunately in my childhood, my dynamic with my family and my family members, they actually and it's interesting. On Friday night, I had like an energy healer kind of do a session with me, and it's the first time I had done that. And I didn't realize a lot of stuff that I was kind of holding in. And I realized that it's not that I was shy or introverted. It's just that I was not in an environment that gave me permission to be me. My mom was very much kind of like, I need to control her. There's a certain image, because she came from a family like that where it was all very image based. Couldn't walk out of the house unless I had lipstick on. Certain things where up until I was 9, she would dress me up in saddle shoes, in dresses. She would part my hair in the middle, braids with a matching bow. And I was always like perfect. And then I remember I went into school one day. It was a Jewish private school, and when I was in 4th grade. And I remember I got made fun of because I come into the classroom and I'm all dolled up. And I just remember everyone was like, who does she think she is? And I just remember being horrified because that wasn't really me. I was just trying to be like, do for my mom. And then, it was the same thing with my dad. And then my family members, they were super outspoken, very egocentric, and and I don't mean that like in a negative way, but a lot of narcissism was happening. And so if anything, it just pushed me aside. And so I didn't feel like I could really be who I was. Right. So I think I always naturally have been an extrovert, naturally had like that confidence in there. It wasn't being nourished. And it wasn't until I got divorced at age 35 that I started kind of gaining confidence, because I was teaching yoga and cycle, and people were actually listening to what I had to say. And they were, they kind of made me feel like, holy crap, like I am confident to be someone in front of a classroom of people and to tell them what to do. And they're actually listening to me. Yeah, but unfortunately, so I was teaching yoga and cycle right before my divorce, and that gave me a sense of confidence. I started feeling much more secure with who I was. All of these things, I was getting all this attention, and I'll be once again, I'm very transparent, and my ex-husband doesn't listen to any of this stuff. Well, no, it was hard for him because I was a yes person, and I was kind of like in my role as a wife and a mother. And then suddenly I was like coming outside of that role and being more confident. And then the resentment came in and the insecurities on his side came in because he was like, shoot, this is not someone I'm used to. I'm not used to this Raquel. Mm-hmm. And then later, as I started I got divorced, and even my mom said, who knew? Like, even my family to this day is shocked that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I was like, you know what, Mom? It wasn't like it was always in there. It was always been, this has always been who I've been. It's just no one really allowed me to be like, even my ex-husband, and my ex gets it now. He's like, we all held you back. He's like, your parents, myself, we were all controlling you in a way that now you're like, now I'm in control, and this is really who I am. So
what a great celebration. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I couldn't resist that. And then the other thing is, Gracie, it's actually RAQ.
Oh, RAQ, yeah.
I'm sorry, I should have told you that because the hashtag's real small on the screen there. So
is it? Oh, okay. So yeah. RAQ and then the boat.
Yeah. So Gracie, if you wouldn't mind redoing that, but I like the rock the boat as well. That one, maybe you should grab both,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rachel, Raquel, I can relate to some of that because I came from an all-female household. So my father was absent, and the only time he did come home, he was not so good to be around. So he had lots of issues, which fortunately didn't rub off. Some of them rubbed off on me, but not all of them. And so yeah, I was also suppressed, I would say, based on all that female energy. And yeah, and people say to me, oh, you were spoiled. And it's like, no, my sisters were pretty competitive in their own right. So I would like wither away into the background, so.
Yeah, it's tough, right? As kids not to be able to feel like they can be who they are. And oddly enough, like this just came into my head right now. Woo, another epiphany. Rock the boat. I didn't want to rock the boat as a kid at all, especially because when my brother's 5 years younger than me, he was a very difficult child for my parents. Very difficult. He still is. He's 40, and there's a lot that he just was not easy. And because of that, and I was already the perfect child, and then he comes along and he's like the opposite. Then I had to even be more of, this perfect angel. And so, yeah, I didn't want to rock the boat. And so I just realized that like now I'm having the opportunity to rock the boat. Holy smokes. Okay. This is great.
Awesome. No, this is what evolution's all about. Why not do it live?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, now I have the opportunity to do what I really couldn't do as a child, or even up until even through my marriage, really. Wow.
Yeah. So I can
a t-shirt, because you were saying that it had to do with a lot of.
I'll come back to that. No. I want to come back to something else because for my mom, I was a difficult boy as well, and she used to try and so my mom and I, the only time we would ever find a peaceful environment is we used to sit in her back garden, and she loved roses, and the only common thing we would do where we wouldn't fight is drink good hot tea with each other. So I always remember the very last time I sat down with my mom before she passed away, she said to me, she said, you're just such a wild child, and I never knew that.
You're like,
right, because she'd spent a lot of her energy grooming and looking after my sisters and making sure they didn't get into trouble. And I was pretty independent. I was independent really from the age of 11 when I first started my part-time work. I would actually deliver newspapers and go to high school. So, and I had a bicycle. So I used to be a wild child on a bicycle delivering papers, doing all sorts of stuff that my
Did you
mom.
do little wheelies and no hands on the handlebars?
Well, actually, I would fall off it a lot. So, and of course, I didn't want to get spanked for falling off it. So I would go home, and my sisters would like take care of me on the side and patch me up, you know, to make sure my mom didn't see all the bruises and scrapes and all that jazz. So yeah. Anyway, so yes, back to the t-shirt. So see, this is a Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
I love Mickey Mouse.
It's in blue for the guy in the blue shirt. And I was thinking when I was preparing for this, you know, there's this timid little mouse, right, that became a little character. And then who would have known that this little timid mouse would have become a mega brand across the planet, right?
Right.
So what an insightful thing that little Mickey, you know, Mickey and Minnie, when Walt Disney created him as a little cartoon character, who would have thought that from that little humble, very shy, very soft-spoken beginning that Mickey would become a mega brand, right?
A bazillionaire.
A bazillionaire. And then the other key back to Mickey is I had an uncle that used to animate for the Walt Disney Studios in London.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and he literally used to draw cartoons on what they called plates. So there was one drawing per plate. So he would have this giant drawing board with all these plates, and it was before digitization. So he would draw characters for the Walt Disney Studio, plate by plate by plate.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow. I'm sure those things are worth like a ton.
I wish I had them. He had the most gigantic drawing board as well that I always remember, and it was in what we call a conservatory, which is a covered patio here in the US. So
okay.
Yeah. So
wow.
Anyway, so think about this. So
great.
So see, this is Rachel, this little
I'm
little
like Minnie Mouse.
little shy Minnie Mouse, and now you're becoming a mega brand, right?
I mean, I maybe. I hope in a good way. So when people say like mega brand, I'm like, okay, I hope that I do become one in the sense, because what I'm trying to do is make an impact and inspire and be a positive force.
Sure.
So we need that in this world. So if it becomes a mega brand, then so be it, because I think it's only for the good, right?
Right.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm very self-absorbed, I know, but at the same time, it's like that's how we change the world, is through people and through sharing their stories, and so I want to be that person.
Well, and the reason I think Mickey and Minnie Mouse are so appealing even today is because they bring out joy and laughter and pleasure, right? So
yeah, and that's what I try to do, is make people laugh and smile, and because that's what I love. Like when I scroll through my social media feeds, I stop at like the bloopers, or when people are just being funny, or just like a total, that to me, anytime I can laugh, that's why I tell people, like, you know, because I'm still single, 10 years divorced, and you know, one of the number one criteria that I have for a guy is he needs to be able to make me laugh.
Oh, awesome. So
looks, it's the brain, but this is the thing. So people that are very funny, comedians, are very smart. They're so intelligent. So usually if you can make me laugh and you're funny, you're already very smart. And it's, for me, you have to be smart. Like my ex-husband is very smart. But he's also very sarcastic, a smart ass, and that's how I am. So I remember that was like one of the first things that drew me into him, is that we had never met, but we would banter back and forth through email, because that was before texting.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Email, and he would crack me up. I literally would LOL when I would read his emails, and that to me was like really important. So that's still important for me, is that you got to be able to make me laugh.
Hey, well, talking about bloopers and laugh, if you're not connected to Dana Mantillo, you should go see her outtakes this morning from her bloopers. Dana, very sharp.
She's the one that does all the cybersecurity,
Yeah, you got her. Yeah. Yeah.
She and I were in an engagement pod together, so that's how I met her. And
Yeah.
then, so now I follow all her content, and she's hilarious. Oh my God, she's
Oh, yeah.
so funny. But I love that.
Yeah, she was an amazing live guest a few weeks ago, and
Good.
yeah, she comes from a family of actually auto dealers. So Dana also runs a Ford auto dealership and an insurance company, as well as. I know, she's amazing. So she's got lots of reflective funnies that I know she learns from people that she meets all the time. So it's awesome. Anyway, let's say hi. Oh, Lisa, yeah. Hey.
Well, I love that Lisa wrote blue is the color of our throat chakra to speak our truth. I love that, Lisa, because you know, colors really, I'm all about the chakras and the colors. I've done it's in Mexico, it's like a hut where it's like a sauna. What do they call those? Oh, it's not coming to me, but I've done that a couple times with a shaman, and you go through all your chakras, and it's a whole 45-minute ceremony in like 100 and something degree heat, and you're just sweating, and it's like, it's great, but I love that. So
right.
I didn't realize blue was the throat chakra. So thanks. I like that.
Oh, well, maybe the guy in the blue shirt has something going on then.
See, you didn't even know. I mean, I'm just assuming blue is your favorite color, so that's why you're a guy in a blue shirt.
Actually, the story's long, but the highlights, it goes back to 2006. A lady called Dee Leahy, when I was living in Dallas, Texas. I was broken and broke, literally. And she met me, and she forced me to go to a networking meeting with her. Okay. Literally, and I had not been to a networking meeting before, and she said, "Do you have a blue shirt?" Yeah, she said, "Do you have a blue shirt?" And I said, "I think so." And she said, "Wear a blue shirt, a dark blue jacket, and I'll pick you up tomorrow at noon." And she did, and I said to her, "Well, why blue?" And she said, "It makes your eyes pop." Yeah, so that was
it does look great with your blue eyes.
Right. So that was the brand anchor. I guess the birthing of the blue color was Dee Leahy back in 2006. Fast forward to last fall, Gracie Ruth Melendez and I met originally at a LinkedIn local in Los Angeles. Okay. And we were at an event, and I was standing near Gracie, and there was a question that came up, and she said, "Oh, just go ask that guy in the blue shirt." So that's how it came about, was last fall. And I kind of ignored it. And then earlier this year, I thought, you know what, that number one, it makes me feel good when I wear blue. And number two, that's kind of a quaint little true story. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to become the guy in the blue shirt. Why not?
I love it. And, you know, it's all about branding. So branded yourself out.
That's right. Standing out in amongst the crowd, right?
Yes. I love it.
All the behavioral introverts that have had to become highly trained extroverts, right?
And it's amazing how many of them are out there.
How many of us are out there?
There are. Yeah, that's well. Oh, yeah. I know. I keep thinking. See, once again, it's changing my mindset. It's rewiring my brain, because I still am so set and like viewing myself the way others have always viewed me. And so I have to remember, like, I have to remind myself that there's some quote that you're like, you're not your thoughts, you're something or other. So yeah, I got to stop.
Right. Yeah, you become. Actually, I have a funny little joke. They say that you become what you think about most. And I was at a conference with a guy called Tom. I've forgotten his last name, but he was a sales trainer, and his opening line was, he said, "I was standing in the wings, and some guy to me said, 'Why are you wearing a dress?' And he said, 'Well, I become what I think about most, which is women.'" So he would always open his sales training that way, and I've never forgotten that. So
that's too funny. I love it. And yes, Gracie, send me a direct message, please.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Gracie is one of the best meaningful connection networkers that I know on here. She is such a dear.
Oh, look who just hopped on, my best friend. She's like, "Don't think everything you think."
Oh my goodness.
So Nancy is actually new to LinkedIn. She's been on LinkedIn, but I have pushed her to like really use this platform. So as of, I think I want to say maybe just 2 or 3 weeks ago, she's kind of been more active on LinkedIn. So I love that she just hopped on the live. I love you. And she's in LA. So she's on the West Coast too.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I know. Actually, Nancy reached out to me, and she was one of the people that reshared the posting the other day. So
Oh, that's right.
yeah, she's awesome. So Nancy, yeah, if you want to join our Southern California
LinkedIn Live
local virtual later this week, today bloopers. It's November 19th at 6:30. So if you're connected to Gracie Ruth Melendez, who's on here, then she can get you a link, or Gracie posted about it this morning. So just hop over to Gracie's feed, and the registration link is there if you want to join us.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. So Nancy, I'm really I love it because here we've been best friends since college. She's the one that introduced me to my ex-husband. And so we're still super, super close. We've been through everything together. And so it's kind of cool because I just kind of introduced her to Way Beyond Measure, which is a nonprofit that is out there, trying to help with anti-bullying and suicide prevention in the schools. And so it's really cool because I introduced her to the group, and so now she's going to be a part of it. So I love that she and I are going to essentially kind of be working together. We're supposed to be working with Way Beyond Measure and just kind of doing what we can to help, because she has a story as well, and she's a speech therapist and works with children. So I love that, you get to, it's like a whole new adventure, and I just love it with all.
Yeah. Well, I have a story about bullying. It goes back to my upbringing on a project, what we would call a project. They call it a council estate in England. So Nancy, yeah, if you want any good stories about bullying that you might want to use for helping people you work with, then just let me know. I have a few.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, it's one of those things where, unfortunately, because of COVID, pre-COVID, so Coach David Verdue is the one that started, and he was going to the schools and doing assemblies and actually interacting with the children. And so obviously now it's all virtual. So we're just trying to figure out how to kind of do that now, and then hopefully kind of get back in the schools. And I know that I already told them I want to be in front of kids, and I'm sharing, my story and talking to them. So that's something that I'm hopeful is going to be in my future too.
Right.
So,
actually, we have that in common. I love to work with what I call high potential team members, or high potential leaders. And you're a high pot, whether you know it or not. But so that's actually the common theme. People say to me, well, how do you choose your people that you reach out to become lives? And it's because you have all similar attributes. And I love to learn, prosper, and grow from high pots. So that's where my energy comes from. I'm too old to gain my own energy. So
yeah, well, it's interesting too, because I just had my human design chart done over several months ago, and I found out I was a manifesting generator. So I'm like an energizer bunny, and that's why a lot of people come to me with those that don't generate their own energy. They're drawn to people like me that generate that. But it can be dangerous, because what was happening is I was drawing in a lot of energy vampires.
Ah, right.
So I was allowing a lot of those people in my life because I felt like, oh, this is great. But here, I was literally feeding them my energy, right? And it took a long time. And it just happened about 2 years ago, where I had to get rid of, and when I say get rid of, it sounds like a horrible thing to say, but I did kind of have to get rid of.
No, they will.
I had to take inventory and do some housekeeping, and I realized that I was surrounding myself with some real serious energy vampires. And as soon as I was like, you know what, this is not good for me. I can't have you in my life. It's amazing the shift that my world took. And when I say world, I mean the universe. People that were coming to me, things that were happening, because I had gotten rid of all the negativity and toxicity, and I was purposely wanting positive people in my life. And so suddenly it was amazing how I was drawing those and attracting those people in. So now I understand why I attract certain people, and I do have to be very careful about those people, and listen to my intuition and my gut, because I always know from the start they're not the best thing, but I try to be nice. I try to be non-judgmental. I want to be that person that gives people the benefit of the doubt. But unfortunately, there are people out there that have the best intentions, that, you know, I do believe that everyone's inherently good, but unfortunately there's things, that situations or things that happen, trauma, that kind of cloud people's judgment and cloud kind of who they are.
You're
it just means that they don't belong. I just can't have them in my sphere.
Right. You're absolutely right. They will, unless you do the exorcism, they will literally suck the life out of you. Absolutely.
And it's like, I didn't realize that until I got rid of that energy. And I was like, it was almost embarrassing. I was almost kind of embarrassed that I allowed those type of people in my life for that long amount of time. But once again, it's all a learning process. You live and you learn. Sometimes it takes longer for others. For me, it's becoming a little bit longer of a process. My dad likes to say that I'm a late bloomer. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a late bloomer. Here I'm 45, just kind of starting to learn things. But you know what? Hey, that's my journey.
Hey, we have so much in common. I started over when I moved to the US. I was just coming up to my 40th birthday, and
wow.
I started over. I moved here with 2 suitcases, and I knew 1.5 people. That was it.
And when you came out here, did you have like a certain dream or no? Because some people come here and they're like, I'm going to make it big in what I'm acting, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to be the next,
no,
or whatever.
I actually followed my intuition. So I literally packed my previous life away in a shipping container, or the pieces that I wanted to keep. The rest of it I sold, or I detached from the people that I didn't want to keep. And I flew here and started over in 16 weeks. My container showed up, and by then I had a rented apartment with a bed, a chair, a TV, and a fully equipped kitchen, and that was it. So I lived like that and that's actually how I relearned to live simply. So I'm all about simpler, faster, better, and I'm a product of the product as much as I can be. So
wow. And I'm in a place right now where if it weren't for my kids, I would have my condo, I would have sold it. I would have been in a 1-bed. I mean, I'm especially with COVID, and I think a lot of people are realizing during COVID that they really don't need all this junk that they have. Like, I have a closet full of suits and beautiful clothing and shoes and handbags, and I'm like, so I have a nice top on right now. I've got sweatpants.
Me too.
This is on top, party on the bottom.
Right.
But I look at my closet and I think, how many thousands of dollars have I just thrown down the tube by purchasing all that stuff that I really don't need? Or even like, I hardly wear makeup anymore. Like, even now my hair, I let it air dry. I didn't even use a hair dryer. I didn't even use a brush. There's like so many things that I'm trying to simplify and just kind of like back to the basics.
Yep, that's it. Simpler, faster, better, Raquel.
Yeah, so I'm living that right now, where I realize that there's so much that I don't need, and not only that, I realize that my relationships are more important now than ever. Oh my gosh, just even oddly enough, with LinkedIn and branding and having a business. I'm sure you've seen on LinkedIn how a lot of people are freaking out because the algorithms are kind of out of whack. People are complaining because now my content, like I do native video, I do a lot. It's all original content. It's all video. And that's the content that's being pushed down the furthest now. So what I was used to getting a lot of engagement for, now I'm not getting that engagement. So then it also has you question, like, what am I doing on here? Like, why, now I'm in the business of telling people what to do, and I'm telling them to do it on video, but yet video is not being honored, so then it makes you realize, like, oh gosh, what's going on here? But with all of that, I've managed to still do okay right now because of the relationships that I've built. And it's not just a network, it's really our friendships. I just told you how Michael Ray just FaceTimed me before. So Michael Ray is someone, same thing, where you know, people like that. There's a Brian Schulman who's big on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He just FaceTimed me this morning on his walk, and we become friends. And so I know that because I've managed to really create a family and such good friendships, that all that other stuff is just, if LinkedIn fell apart like right now, I would be okay, because I really have done a good job of getting to know the people that have been following me and that have been interacting with me. And so I know that I've made enough of an impact, just at least for now, that the social media part of it, it's okay.
You probably don't know this, but Brian Schulman is the reason I did my first video.
Does he know that?
Of course. Yeah, I met him in person at a LinkedIn local LA when Diana Nguyen came over to talk last summer.
Okay.
And I walked into the room early because I wanted to say hi to Diana. And Brian is a smaller gentleman. And I walked in and I was nervous, and I literally walked into him, and he had his video camera, and he said, "Hey, this is LinkedIn Live. Say something."
No, I wonder. Okay, so this is the type of stuff that I love doing. So keep talking, and we'll see if I can pull them up.
Oh, sure. So anyway, Brian Schulman has also been a LinkedIn Live guest of mine. Brian has actually given me some coaching on the side, and he is such a warm and giving young man, and I just love everything that he's all about. So he's super supportive, and
he's not answering my FaceTime, so he probably is he's probably busy, but because I just wanted to, that's funny. That's like, I was on a call. It was a Virginia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'd received an award and we were doing something. And this woman's like, oh, we should connect on LinkedIn. So I go to her LinkedIn profile, and the latest activity of hers was her commenting on Michael Ray's post. I'm like, you know Michael Ray? She's like, oh my gosh, I love that guy. So then right then in that moment, I FaceTime
awesome.
And she was like, oh my gosh. Like, so I'm that type of person. I'm like, hey, the more the merrier. Let's just surprise people.
Yeah, I love Michael Ray stuff and Maggie Moo. They always make me laugh and smile. So
yeah, Maggie recognizes me now. So she's like, what up? Like every time she sees me, like, what up? I'm like, what up, Maddie? Yeah. So, but that's the thing, is like, that's why I tell people, bottom line, it's all about the relationship. So don't focus on the vanity metrics. Don't focus on if you focus on the relationships, it doesn't matter if like social media falls apart, because you have those relationships. And if you don't care about that, then really, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. Stop wasting your time and other people's time.
Yeah. Right? So that's why when people reach out to me, and I was like, let's get on a call. So like today I have a call with Mike Skiba. He's another one that like, kind of part of that whole circle. So I finally reached out to him. I'm like, let's get on a call. So Mike Skiba, Judy Fox, and I have a call tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she reached out to me and she's like, hey, because I've been like stalking her for a while, and a while ago, and she finally responded, but through Instagram, oddly enough. And so we have a call tomorrow. I had a call with a guy late this morning from a LinkedIn local that I met in Wisconsin, and he ended up and that's what's like so beautiful, is that all these people I'm just like connecting with them, and it to me fuels me.
Right. So if I can add something that you might find helpful, and Gracie and I and the LinkedIn local leaders, even though we're virtual, we talk about this all the time. It's number one about meaningful connections. And there's a three-legged stool for LinkedIn, those people that don't know, and it's learn, prosper, and grow. And if you put a C on top of the three-legged stool for community, as long as you stick to those four main things and build meaningful connections, you just cannot go wrong long term.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like it's the long term, and that's, I think people are way too short-sighted when it comes to social media. I'm like, no, it's the long game. It's the long game. I've been on LinkedIn for 7 years. You know, I didn't build any kind of presence or following just overnight. It's funny how many people are impressed by my 20,000 followers. I'm like, honestly, I could probably have double that if I just accepted everyone's connections. But let me tell you, I've had connections requests from like Laura Croft, the Tomb Raider, with Angelina Jolie's actual picture on there. And what freaks me out is that I have like 100 and something mutual connections with Laura Croft, the Tomb Raider. So that just goes to show you that people are blindly accepting connections. I've had Roger Rogers, Muhammad, and then you look and they don't have any work history. They have nothing on their profile, but yet I have 200 plus connections with them.
Yeah, I know. It's
just amazing to me. So it just goes to show you that there's still people out there that believe that it's the number of following that they have that's going to give them any kind of, and it's not true. I had a young woman who's in the industry, the mortgage industry, and a colleague, young. Mm-hmm. She has way more followers than I have. And she called me up and she's like, can we talk? She's like, I need to know what you're doing. She's like, because I have all this following. She goes, but I don't get any engagement, zero. And I asked her, I'm like, well, are you purposely trying? And she's like, no. And she hit me like someone like, she's like, I want to be like you when I grew up, which is very sweet and humbling. But at the same time, it's like, sweetie, but you're not putting in the work that I'm putting in. You know what I mean? Like but that's the younger generation. It's, it's the quick fix. It's, they just don't have that patience. Right. It's instant gratification. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. Look, I'm 45 and I'm just kind of figuring it out.
Right. Well, with 40 plus years of working experience, I can guarantee you that you always get what you design.
Yes. And I'm learning that I need to design what I deserve too, because I've always kind of felt like I'm unworthy. I don't deserve happiness. I don't deserve success. I've always felt that way. And then finally, I'm like, no, I deserve it too. Like, I'm a good person. So now the way I'm designing my future is of worthy, of deserving, of all of those things. And so because of that, I'm slowly starting to get those things are slowly coming into my life because I'm finally realizing that, I'm worthy.
Absolutely. So that is a great departure point, I think. I'm
sorry, is it Adessa? How do you pronounce her name?
Odessa, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Odessa, thank you very much. Was she really with a beautiful smile? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Odessa's a up-and-coming high potential person. I've been in contact with her for more than a year on LinkedIn. Okay.
So we have to connect. I have to connect with all these people on here. I love it.
You bet. So great segue. How do you prefer people to connect with you?
What I deserve. Ooh, I like that. Sorry, my best friend's like, new hashtag. I gotta write that down either way.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Hashtag design what design what I deserve. That's awesome.
Thanks, sweetie.
Hey, good job, Nancy. We should have you on these things more often. I think.
She's a good one. You should have her on your live too. She's just that's the thing. There's a lot of people that might not have a following. They're newer to these platforms, but they all still deserve to be heard, and they all still have the same,
right, so
everyone else too.
I'm going to follow your lead. Just do it, Nancy. If you're interested, I have an open spot on Monday, December 21st.
Oh, yay!
Look at my schedule. It's
December 21st. Put it on your calendar. That'll be her first LinkedIn Live.
Oh, that would be fun. She's blushing.
You're like a lot of people's first, Bruce. This is pretty. You're like my first today and then all these things. So yeah, wow, you're like all these women's firsts.
Uh-oh.
I know that's so inappropriate. Sorry.
I was going to say, do you really want to go there?
See, that's what happens. It's like, foot and mouth all the time.
That's all right. Hey, that would be another good hashtag, another woman's first. How about that? Oh, awesome. So again, if you wanna follow Raquel's latest, it will be RAQ the boat. So go.
I wanted to do one I do one more plug? Sorry. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm ready to be a host of an actual podcast for a new nonprofit for small business owners called the Alliance to Save the American Dream. So I'm going to be the podcast host for that. So if anybody out there, small business owners, is really kind of, we're going to be doing a lot of talking about what's going on and just giving a forum and a voice. And that's something that's going to be happening like really soon. So yeah, so it'll be my first introduction to actually being a host in that capacity. So I'm excited. I'm usually the guest. Now I get to be the host.
Sign me up. I'd love to tell you about my American journey.
Yes, that would be great. So
yeah,
we'll connect with that too. And then I could be the interviewer.
Right. All the way from day one when I showed up at St. Louis Airport and the guy that was supposed to pick me up didn't show up.
Oh, snap.
Literally. And I had no dollars, but I did have the address of the hotel that I was supposed to go to. So that I have a great story about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. So we're going to share stories and just talk about things that other small business owners that may be struggling right now, what they can do and resources and all of that, which is a big deal right now for a lot of people, especially now that we're going back into a lot of shutdown. So
yeah, a lot of restrictions coming again.
Yeah. But thank you, all the ladies that got on here. I so appreciate it. And for you guys interacting and everything. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I think there's is there any guys on here?
I don't think any dudes. I don't think any dudes.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't mind. I with my sisterhood upbringing, I'm pretty good at
all the estrogen in the air.
Maybe I should be hashtag the estrogen boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you'd like to hang,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you how to get.
It's all good for your live, so send her the info.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm hooking up guests for you and everything.
Awesome. It will come back many-fold over, right? Or many times over.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna end. If you can hang on. Thank you, everybody. It was so much fun interacting with all of my loyal LinkedIn Live followers. I have a quadre of people. So thank you for joining, and thank you, Raquel, for being so open.
You're welcome.
All right.